Hi, and welcome to my channel, Laura's Library Card. So I decided to kind of spontaneously grab my phone and record and just do a super quick spontaneous check-in because okay, here I am recording this late on Wednesday, January 11th. And as of right now, I've only finished one book in 2023. Which I'm frustrated about because, like, for me, that's behind. For me, that's slow. For me, that's, like, not much. And I think part of the reason is that book was just kind of, like, meh. And also because I'm currently reading 6 different books. Like, I have so many books that I have started and I'm just not quite finished yet. And so I think that, like, when I manage to finish all these books, I will suddenly jump ahead in my page count and book finishes. But I'm kind of struggling at the moment. So I wanted to just vent and figured you are the ones who get stuck listening to that. So the plan for this video is I'm going to tell you about the first book that I finished for 2023 and how I thought it was pretty meh, and then I'm going to tell you the 5 or 6 books that I am in the middle of reading and maybe a couple sentences about what I'm thinking so far for those. And yeah, then it'll just be a quick January chat, So let's dive in. The first book that I finished for 2023, like I said, was pretty middle of the road, and this was The Mother-in-Law by Sally Hepworth. This was a book that was chosen for one of the book clubs that I'm in, a fiction book club, and I thought was pretty underwhelming. The premise of this book is that we have 2 points of view and 2 plot lines. We're following Lucy and her mother-in-law, Diana, hence the name of the book, The Mother-in-Law, and we are getting past and present timelines. We learn in chapter 1, essentially, that Diana's body has just been found and she's dead. And so all of Diana's points of view are told in the past because she's dead. And Lucy's points of view alternate between the present and the past. So over the course of this book, we learn about the 2 of them and their relationship and how it's sort of rocky and somewhat distant. It has its ups and downs, mostly downs or struggles. And we also get to learn a little bit about the family as a whole and some of the other family dynamics that are going on here because, they don't just exist in a total bubble. So yeah, the premise or whatever is that Diana is turned up dead and the police are kind of suspicious that it was not a suicide. So what was going down, what was happening. I would say that this is not a thriller. I feel like the reviews pretty much all agree with that, even though that is the 3rd most common tag on this book on Goodreads. I do think mystery is an okay description here, but for me, my frustration with this book is that it just lacked a lot of tension and didn't have that drive pulling it forward. So okay, a body is found, but Lucy doesn't find it. She's just kind of told about this body, about her mother-in-law. And then, so what? In my opinion, Lucy was supposed to be set up as this other point of view as either the murderer or the detective. And I didn't feel like she was functioning as the detective. And I pretty early on ruled her out as the murderer. And so it just kind of was frustrating there, and I felt like there was just a lack of tension throughout the whole book, and I just didn't really care about the characters. I felt like Diana, while she was more complex than Lucy, she came across as so unfeeling and weirdly stilted and distant from her own family, which didn't really make any sense because Diana has good, loving, kind, generous relationships with the refugees that she helps for her charity. So it just Diana was this whole contradiction that was frustrating to read. And by the time we get to either Lucy or Diana, it's just too late in the book. I probably would have DNF'd this I didn't, I finished it. But I probably would have DNF'd it if it was not for a book club. So yeah, overall, I just felt like there were, the whole thing was just kind of lukewarm. It didn't have enough sort of suspects or clues, and it didn't have much drive pulling it forward. So I just was kind of frustrated the whole time, and I didn't care about what had happened or a whodunit kind of situation. So you win some, you lose some, and this one for me was just a very middle of the road blah title. So let me tell you about I'm going to talk about 5 books that I am in the middle of. I did say 6 at the start of this video, which is true because I have Crying in Mart on my currently reading list, but I haven't touched it in over a month, probably closer to 2 months, and I think I'm just gonna DNF it. So yeah, but I think I'm about 50% of the way through. That was also for a book club. I don't know. I may pick it up. I don't know. If I can't push through it in January, I will DNF it by the end of the month. But I'm currently in the middle of and actively reading 5 different books. The first one is Two Wrongs Make a Right by Liese. I am 42% of the way through the audiobook, and I am enjoying this. This is a contemporary romance. It is a Much Ado About Nothing retelling, and so we have two people who are seemingly, in a lot of ways, sort of opposites attract, kind of, very opposites, and they don't like each other, and they are pretending to date, fake dating, one of my favorite tropes, sort of to pull one over on their group of friends, or to make some of the friends, they have this like plot, so it's very fun, and I love Chloe Liese's writing, and I'm enjoying this thoroughly. I would probably already be finished with this, but my loan had gone back to the library and I only just got it back today, so I'm planning on diving back into that audiobook and hopefully finishing that out by the end of the week. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I'm also 29% of the way into the audiobook for A Lady for a Duke by Alexis Hall, which is a historical romance. And I don't always love historical romances, but this one had gotten so much like buzz and reviews and ratings that I really wanted to dive in, especially since I have enjoyed some of Alexis Hall's writing before, like Boyfriend Material and possibly something else that I'm blanking on right now. So I wanted to see what that was going to be like in a historical setting. And there is a lot of sort of angst in this book because the main female character in this historical romance is a trans main character and is basically like reconnected to her childhood like best friend who thinks that she is dead. And so he's like grieving, but she's like, she doesn't want to admit who she is. And so it sort of feels in a lot of ways like a big miscommunication plot, but also like there are strong, good reasons for that miscommunication to happen. So I'm enjoying the angst. I'm enjoying where it's going, but I just like also kind of want to like get there a little faster. But yeah, so I am making progress through that. I am also listening to Cultish by author that I'm going to put here. I'm going to put the book cover here on the screen, but I'm blanking on the author's name. This is a nonfiction title that is discussing sort of cults and where the verbiage and etymology of the word cult came from, and sort of a little bit of like the history of cults in America, but it's really much more focused on language and how language can bring people together and how language like forms cults and that kind of thing. I'm only 17% of the way in, and so I basically, or maybe even just a little bit more than that, because I'm like an hour and a half into the audiobook and I've just finished part 1. And so part 1 really felt like a lot of the like setup for the book, and I'm excited to dive into some of those other sections, but it's a little bit more than what I can listen to sort of passively at work. So I'm going to have to try to find other times that I can listen to that. I am 28% of the way into the ebook Winter's Orbit, also by somebody whose name I have forgotten. Winter's Orbit is by Everina Maxwell, and I'm really enjoying this. I read the first I read most of this, like the first 28% all in one day, and I was really enjoying it. There is a little bit more sort of political stuff happening. This is a science fiction male romance, but there isn't really almost any romance arranged marriage situation. So there hasn't really been very much romance yet. There's been like a spark of attraction, but it feels like we're still like really getting to know these characters. There's a lot more like politics going on than I realized was going to be happening, but I am intrigued and I'm liking it, and I want to see these characters like get to know each other. It feels like there's some sort of like underlying plot or threat or mystery that's sort of we've gotten hints at, but like has yet to be really revealed and set out. And so I'm kind of like feeling like that there's going to be some sort of like, now we have to solve the mystery together. So I feel like that sort of plot line is going to start to happen, but I'm really enjoying it, and I don't want to like plow through the whole thing, but also I do want to plow through the whole thing, you know what I mean? So I'm enjoying that. And the last thing that I am currently working on is The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. This is a buddy read that I said I was going to read entirely in December. I'm on page 82. So yeah, I read the first like 80 pages in like one day or one chunk, one sitting. Like 6 weeks ago, in December, like when I was, at the start of December when I said I was going to read it. And I've been just like a really bad buddy read partner, and I'm going to pick that up. I promise I'm going to pick that up. I don't have very many plans this weekend, so I'm hopeful that Saturday and Sunday I can make a good dent and I can participate in conversation and it'll be good. I might have to actually start it over though because it's been a minute. So yes, I am in the middle of multiple great books. Everything I'm reading, I'm interested in, and it's hard to kind of balance that juggling act of like, what do I read next? But I am a little annoyed with myself that I haven't yet finished more books for 2023. I know it's only the 11th. I know I have time. Work has been nuts. We did my family's Christmas stuff last weekend instead of Christmas because of that whole like winter storm thing. So I've not had a ton of time. I need to be a little bit more gracious with myself. But also, I'm finding myself, I have like a whole list here of like even more books that I want to get to, and I was hoping to get to. I have a book club this upcoming next Monday and this next upcoming Wednesday. I haven't read either of those books, which is The Starless Sea and The Keeper of Lost Things. So those might have to take precedence, and I feel like I have like a lot on my plate all right now, and I want to keep starting new things. Today I was like this close to downloading another Ruby Dixon books. So yeah, I'm just kind of in a struggle spot right now, and I just wanted to let you know what I'm feeling and what I'm reading and just kind of say hi. So let me know down below if you are somebody who reads one book at a time or lots of books at a time, because I am very clearly the latter. And yeah, let me know what you are currently reading, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!